Good afternoon, everyone.
What up?
What?
I don't know.
I like it. That should be your new go-to.
What up? Yeah.
It's been that kind of
You
week.
wanted some kind of I think you wanted to sign off.
I mean, both would be cool.
Mhm.
I'm down for either. We can
Okay.
have one or the
You could
other.
Try a different one every week.
Yeah, but I
Find
don't
that sweet spot.
the sweet spot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have a good go-to other than hello.
Hello! Miss Doubtfire style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it. I'm not cool enough to have a slogan, if you will.
What it do and how it be.
That's stupid.
I know. So what?
I said just like you.
Yeah, so this week we're talking about bloat. Why did I pick that?
Because we just did a gastropexy on your parents' new dog.
Yeah, my parents have a new dog. He is a Great Dane named Hudson. He's very cute. So he yesterday got neutered and he got pexied. He got his gastropexy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about what that is and why we did that. So what do you know about bloat? What is bloat?
Bloat is where
Do you know the other name for it first?
gastric dilatation and volvulus.
Good job.
I didn't even look it
I was
up.
like, did you cheat?
I didn't. I didn't. I actually knew that one.
Good job.
GDV.
GDV. It's that GDV. So, yes. So what does that mean? What is
So
happening?
basically what's happening is the stomach is flipped.
Yes. So,
Twisted.
so gastric referring to stomach. Dilatation means what?
Flipping.
Dilation.
You
So
can't
it
ask
fills
too
up
much
with
for
gas. So stomach fills up with gas, and then volvulus is where it twists. So it flips over
That's
on
a
itself.
good-
It does this.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
good.
you gotta put it back. So what happens is because the stomach flips, it cuts off circulation to the stomach. It also cuts off circulation to the spleen. So both of those things are really, really bad. This is something that can be life-threatening very quickly. So yeah, not a thing that you wait on. We had somebody, they were so sweet, I forget who it was, a few weeks ago, that they were like, oh, I was worried that he has bloat, and the dog had been sick for a couple of weeks. I was like, no.
That's not how this works.
He would be dead. So, yeah, this is something that happens acutely, within a few hours. So it needs to be addressed very quickly, too, because as you can imagine, you cut off circulation to an internal organ, what's going to happen?
Going
Real
to
bad
die.
things. Real bad things. So portions of the stomach can die, portions of the whole spleen can die. There's all these things that happen. It releases all kinds of bad stuff into the bloodstream. It's not good. It's really not good. So what breeds are predisposed to bloat?
Great Danes.
That was an easy one.
Some labs.
Yeah, some labs.
Would you say bulldog?
Not
Any
so much.
boxers?
We don't see it a ton in them. I mean, any breed of dog can bloat, including little tiny guys like Chihuahuas, but it's not something that we see commonly in small breeds. It's usually more of a large breed issue. So Great Danes, German Shepherds are up there pretty high too. I think Weimaraners are considered pretty high on the list as well. So those sorts of large breed dogs, especially the ones that are really deep chested, so they've got a really deep chest and then their stomach tucks up, they're more prone to this. So that's why especially for German Shepherds and Great Danes, I do recommend having them gastropexied. So what we do with that is basically we make an incision in the stomach, and we make an incision in the inside of their body wall, their muscle, and their belly, and stitch those two things together. So it doesn't keep the stomach from filling up with gas, but it helps to keep it from being able to rotate, so that it doesn't cut off the circulation like that. So that's why we do that. Do you know some other ways to prevent bloat?
I know, like, don't let them run around and go crazy after, like, eating or drinking a bunch.
Yes.
Other than that, no.
So, yeah, and feeding smaller meals more frequently is better. So definitely not breeds that I would recommend feeding only once a day. It needs to be at least twice a day. It's controversial whether raising the food bowls helps or not. Some people say it does. Some people say it doesn't.
I mean, it can't hurt anything.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. Well, and I think, for those really tall guys, it's probably more comfortable for them to eat from an elevated surface anyway. So, just from that standpoint, I do it. Whether or not it affects if they're going to bloat or not, I don't know. But those are things to do, and yeah, not let him run around crazy. So when I had my Great Dane, we were very, very strict about that in my house. She was not allowed to go play or run outside or anything for an hour after she ate. I made her wait an hour, kind of like swimming.
That's a myth.
It is a myth, but that's okay. And that's actually that's how we got on our schedule of feeding the dogs right before bedtime, because it was just easier to be like, okay, here's your food. Okay, now go to bed and just sleep while you digest.
I mean, that's what I do too. My dogs
so now
know.
we're still on that schedule. Yeah,
they know as soon as the TV goes off at night that they're getting fed, and you can tell they're like running around and bouncing off the walls. And Jace whines. He'll whine, be like, "Woo, hey, Jen." But yeah, Jace knows when it's bedtime.
Yeah. So those are some of the ways that we can try to prevent it. So let's say we didn't do that, or it didn't hold, or something, and
I can keep an eye on the comments.
Gotcha. And your animal is bloating. What signs do we see?
So regurging.
They
so
might
not
regurgitate some.
vomiting. Vomiting is different.
How is it different?
So vomiting, there's like an actual action, like they're retching and trying to get something up. Regurging is just, it comes up. There's usually not a whole lot of warning. It's not something that they can really control. I mean, I guess regular vomiting, you can't really control it either, but it just, it just, bleh,
it's the ones, they just like, no warning, no beforehand working up to it, nothing like that. They just are saying it, they go, bleh, and stuff comes out. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we'll see is retching, but nothing is coming up. So if they're retching and nothing, no liquid, nothing's coming up, that's a bad sign.
Because if you think about it, the stomach is twisted, so nothing can come up.
Right. So, you have the tube that goes from the mouth down to the stomach is called the esophagus. This is for anatomy review.
Yeah.
So when the stomach twists, it's cutting off the circulation to the blood, but it also is twisting at that end by the end of the esophagus. So it's twisted, and so nothing can come up through there. So, so they'll retch and stuff, and they might even drool quite a bit, but there's no actual, like, food or liquid or anything. Yeah.
They want to throw up.
Yeah.
They just can't.
And that's why the one day when you called me panicking that you thought Jace was bloated.
I did.
I was like, hey, okay, try feeding him a little bit of something. See if, 1, he even eats it. 2, if he keeps it down. Because if it just comes right back up and he regurgitates it, that's a sign that maybe that is what's happening. Or if he won't eat it at all, then that's not good either.
Yeah. So the main reason I thought my dog was bloated goes back to another symptom. So they'll look really, like their abdomen will look really distended. And so I was looking at my dog and I was like, he doesn't always look that round. Mm-hmm. Why does he look so fat right now? Mm-hmm. And so then I called this one. I'm like,
it's one of those crying phone calls.
That's usually, usually when I call her, I'm either mad about something or I'm crying. So yeah, I'm like, I think that Jace is bloated. What should I do? Yeah. So yeah, I'm crying. He vomited all over the back of my car, I don't remember where he was. He vomited somewhere in my car.
Yeah. Didn't it
Like
just
a
end up being
bunch
food
of-
bloat?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he ate like a ridiculous
Yeah.
amount of food.
So that's different. So, what we're talking about is GDV, which is just regular bloat. There is also what's called gluttony bloat or food bloat, where your animal just over ingests.
He's a fat kid.
They usually somehow get into the food container or bag or whatever, and they just gorge themselves. So in that case, the stomach is just full of food, but it didn't flip over on itself or anything like that. Their belly really hurts because they overate.
And he was still happy. He was like, "Hey,
Yeah,
how's it going?"
that can make them feel bad too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not quite the same level. A lot of those, most of those, we just end up saying, okay, well, just don't feed them for a day or so, and it'll move along on its own. But in actual GDV bloat, that is an emergency. That needs to be addressed immediately. So you would take your animal to usually a 24-hour care facility because they need monitoring even after it's corrected. But some general practitioners will treat them as well. So you take them there. Basically, they're going to get assessed. They're going to get an x-ray. The x-ray will confirm that is what they have. And then a few different things happen kind of all at once. So they get big doses of IV fluids. Some of them will have multiple IV catheters placed in order to slam them with as much fluids as we can possibly do. And then either decompression of the stomach, sometimes by a tube, sometimes by just puncturing the stomach to let some of the gas out. Or if those things are not successful, then straight to surgery. But ultimately, surgery is what is needed to correct that. So surgery is done. They derotate the stomach, so put it back where it is supposed to be, and then assess for damage to the wall of the stomach. Because like I said, you're cutting off the circulation. So that's going to cause portions of the stomach wall to die, which is bad. So if we dressed it really quickly, returning circulation may be fine. What?
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's not just one bad.
It's not just one bad.
It's two bads.
It might be 4 bads.
Bad.
So sometimes, if it's addressed very quickly, the circulation returns. It's okay. They don't have to do anything else. Other times, that stomach wall is so damaged and dead and necrotic. Sorry to bore you. That they actually have to cut out a chunk of the stomach. So as you can imagine, that's bad too.
It sounds like you're some sort of weird goat. Bad.
And frequently they need their spleen taken out too because it also cut off the circulation of the spleen.
You can live without a spleen.
You can live without a spleen. You don't need that. You don't need it. It's okay. So that's what happens during surgery, and then they'll also typically do a gastropexy at the same time. So tacking that stomach over, because once you have bloated one time, you are probably going to do it again. Or at least try to do it again. Fact. So assuming that your pet made it through all of those things, and this is, like I said, this is a very critical condition that needs very rapid assessment and treatment, and so even with all of that, unfortunately, we can still lose them. Some of them will get some really funky abnormal heart rhythms after surgery, so they need to be monitored after that. So yeah, really close watching for at least a day afterwards. Eyes on the prize. I don't know. So that's why they're usually hospitalized for at least a day afterwards, just to make sure everything's resolving the way that it should. And then they get to go home, and then, don't let them do that again.
Don't let them
Just
do
don't
that
let
again.
it's not a good idea. Tell them not to do that again. But yeah, it's bad stuff, and I know my family has lost, actually, so 1.5. We lost 1.5. Well, so the first one that it happened with,
You
we
guys,
didn't know.
I'm just as lost as you are. I don't know. what she's talking about.
So the first Great Dane so my family has always had Great Danes. So we had one, and she's the first. We didn't know about this condition. We didn't know this was a thing.
You clearly weren't a vet then.
I was
just
yeah,
tell them that.
yeah. I was like in middle school or something. I don't know.
You mean you haven't always been a doctor?
If this was like 300 years ago when I was in middle school, or some version, I don't know, somewhere around that time ish. I don't know. But yeah, so she was exhibiting. Well, we now know were signs of bloat. We tried to get her seen. The vet that we called was not able to see her. She ended up dying at home. So that's not good. That's terrible. Bad. And so the second Great Dane that we had, and I think it's just before we even knew that like gastropexy was a thing.
It may not have been 300 years ago.
It may not. Well, the second one was more like 200 years ago.
Oh.
So that one, I think, was I in college? It was either like freshman undergrad in college or like senior in high school, somewhere around that time. So like 200 years ago. So he started showing signs. So that one,
It took you 100 years to get from middle school to high school.
I'm not a smart girl. No, I just age really quick. That's why.
Oh. Really slow. It would be really slow. You're not a smart girl.
Well, I age fast, so for me it's like 100 years, but in real life, it's not 100 years.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Sorry. Continue.
I lost my story. So we knew what was happening because this was the second dog that we'd had this happen with. He, though, was a very senior guy, and we also were working on potentially diagnosing him with bone cancer in his toe. So we got him to the ER, and they had started doing things, and plan was to potentially take him to surgery, and we made the decision to let him go because of that, because there were other things that were happening in his life that we didn't think it was fair to put him through that surgery, that he may not survive anyway, when we already thought that he might have bone cancer. So that's what he's just like a half.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really necessarily
die
die
from
from it. We just made that just helped us make our decision faster. But we were already probably going to be down that road because of his cancer. So he's just like a half.
That would be a half.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that
See,
makes
now
more
you
sense
understand.
now. I'm glad you explained.
So, yes. So, now that we know that gastropexy is a thing, they all get gastropexied. So, definitely, if you have a female dog that's getting spayed, so girl dogs are spayed and boy dogs are neutered.
True.
True.
She's just spitting out the facts today.
Just
whoosh, like a rapper.
You should create a rap. And then I'm just picturing what that would actually end up being, and that would be terrible.
It would be terrible because none of us are good at rhyme.
Anything.
Yeah. I'm good at some things.
Anything musical.
No.
Nothing
musical. Half the time I did get a dance down. I won't show you because it's still not good. But it's the first dance I've done that this one over here is like, I actually kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Got it. It's from who, the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
NSYNC.
NSYNC.
Mm-hmm.
It's an NSYNC dance. It's like 2 steps. But I got it.
God. Anyway.
Spitting them out.
Just spitting them out. Spitting
Keep
fire.
Keep going with your facts. Girls are spayed. Boys are neutered.
So girls are spayed. Boys are neutered. So female dogs in breeds that are predisposed to bloat, I think for sure, because if we're getting them spayed, we already in their belly. We just extend that incision up a little bit higher and just tack that stomach on over.
I envision in my head like a thumbtack. You just
I just take like a staple gun and just like, or a nail gun. No, that's not how it goes at all.
Not at all.
Not
but
at all.
every time you say tack, that's what I think of.
Well, that's what it's called. So we're already inside their belly, so for sure I would do them. The boys, I still think that that's a thing that should be done, which is why we did Hudson. Yes, technically it's a second incision.
But they're only undergoing surgery once.
Okay.
Anesthesia.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why Hudson got neutered and gastro vaccine yesterday at the same time. Well, they did his vaccine first, and then we did his neuter. It wasn't literally at the same time. I only have 2 hands.
True.
I am not the one with octopus arms here.
That is true.
Hashtag Lindsay.
Lindsay.
But yeah, so he got both surgeries done under one anesthesia. It doesn't take terribly, terribly long to do. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to do, especially for Danes and Shepherds, for sure. I will always have my Danes pexied.
Tact.
I have their stomachs tacked. Yes. Yeah, just put a little thumbtack in there. We just reach out in and put in a little thumbtack. It's fine.
What is this?
Huh?
What was that? Did you do that?
No, so we're put a little thumbtack in.
Oh, okay. I saw this.
Like, with your thumb.
Okay.
Put a thumbtack in. That's why they're called that.
Well, duh.
So much education today. So much. Crystal's loving it. Uh-huh. So, what did you learn? Did you learn anything? Nothing. You already knew all the things. Bloat is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if your animal's abdomen looks distended for any reason, there's very few good things that could cause that.
True that.
I really can't think of any. If it is acutely distended.
I was gonna say pregnancy, but even that's not a good thing.
It's not good. So, yeah, seek medical care. If it's fluid, if it's
Seek
stomach,
life elsewhere.
She's so proud of herself because she's seen like one movie 500 times. She doesn't watch any other movies, but G.I. Jane she's seen like 1,000 times.
I love it.
And has memorized that one movie, but doesn't know Office Space.
I have not memorized.
I don't remember.
it.
Have you seen Princess Bride?
Yes.
You have seen that one. That's amazing. That's amazing. But not Back to the Future.
She's really offended by it.
It's not okay.
My brother would probably be disappointed in me too. I'm pretty sure he loves that movie.
It's not okay. You know what? We should have a whole game where we just ask Crystal what movies, like a list of movies. Has she seen them or not seen them?
Okay.
And then everyone can judge you together, just like I do.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll create a list of must-see movies for Crystal.
Okay. You could also do like movie quotes and see if I know the quote.
No.
Well, but you have to pick movies that you know I've seen and do quotes from them.
So from like the 3 movies that you've seen?
I've seen a bunch of movies, just not the old ones.
So you've seen G.I. Jane.
Yes.
You've seen Top Gun.
I knew that was going to be your next one.
You've
Love Top
seen
Gun.
Dirty Dancing, I believe, right?
Yes.
You have seen that.
I carried a watermelon.
I carried a watermelon. I love that one. I can't think of any other good movies that you've seen. There's some weird horror.
Okay, have you seen the movies like Tears of the Sun?
Nobody's heard of that movie.
I'm pretty sure it has Bruce Willis in it. It's an old movie.
I'm not a Bruce Willis person.
I'm
also not a Tom Cruise person. I don't really like Tom Cruise.
I like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, and that was really about it.
Out there.
What about the movies like Behind Enemy Lines?
Oh God, it's been too long.
See, we just watch different kinds of movies. You like more comedy.
I do like comedy.
And I'm more action.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's seen like every Fast and the Furious.
Oh, duh.
That she's got down.
Duh. But the new one. There's a Fast 9.
Is there? I think I stopped watching it.
I think they're just calling it F9. I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
But it's Fast 9.
It's just to
Vin Diesel was my go-to, man. Loved Vin Diesel. I mean, I still like him, but he's not like at the top of my list anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, Paul Walker.
R.I.P.
God rest his soul.
All right. Well, I forgot to play my song, so I'm gonna play it now because I heard
As a sign-off?
As a sign off, because I think our appointment is here. I think I hear the front door.
I'm looking really
I got a
terrible in this.
This
today.
was gonna be really good when was an intro, and now I've ruined it because I forgot to play it.
You done
So
ruined
I'm
it all.
sorry. It's ruined, but enjoy it anyway.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my name down, flip it and reverse it. It's your primitive is land yet. It's your primitive is land yet. If you got a big, let me search it. To find out how hard I gotta work it.
I got worried for a second there, and I thought it was gonna be not
Explicit. Thought it was
Like, I better stop it. Quit while we're ahead.
I mean, you do bring your coffee mug on the Facebook a lot.
I brought iced tea today.
She doesn't have any coffee. Well, she's had coffee today,
Mm-hmm.
just not for this.
Just not for this. All right. So next week we'll do a fun one.
Movies?
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if I can get my act together and get you a list of movies.
If there's any movies you want to know if I've seen them,
just drop it in the comments.
Yep. We'll ask me.
We'll add it to
See,
the
this will
list.
be the fun thing. I fed you things. Now you can ask me about movies.
Exactly.
And I can trust you with that.
Yes.
You won't feed me salmon or something. I don't know.
I will not. No. So, all right. So we'll see you all next week for a fun one. Bye.